good evening, and how are you doing today? I'm very well, thank God. So how's your day? Let's start with that.
Yeah, my day was very productive and quite eventful. But
Wow. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to hear. So we're going to be diving right into tonight's session, and this is a topic that really um it's something that I'm interested in. But tonight we're not going to be doing this. I'm not going to be doing this alone. I'm going to be doing this with my friend Joyce, and we are going to be diving into the conversation of standing out from the crowd, the commitment, the discipline, and all that is needed for you to stand out for success. Not just standing out so that you are, you know, the black sheep, but you're standing out to be something unique, something that can be useful to the society and to the world at large. So before I go any further, I would like us to welcome first our guest tonight, Joycey. Uh, I think I'll hala introduce herself, but I'll just say the few things I know. I know that she's a music artist, a music minister, music artist, and I know that she's also an entrepreneur and she run like a print, fashion, something like that. And then I know that she's also big on impact. So good to have you with us tonight.
thank you. So
Okay, so
It's
before
such
I
a
hand over, okay,
no. Go on, please. Sorry, go on.
okay, before I hand over the mic to you, I just like to introduce myself for those who are just joining in for the first time. My name is Aisa Osawaro, and I'm the lead personal growth strategist at Successful Living Africa community. And I'm also a content creator and the founder at Ascendity, where we help brands and businesses gain larger audience and grow digitally. And then it's beautiful to be hosting this live session. I think the whole idea behind this is the fact that we need more good content to go out there to be visible so that people can grow and people can become the best version of themselves because you cannot feed on trash and expect your life to be productive and fruitful and beautiful. No, it's only what you receive that you'll be able to produce out of the abundance of those things. So that's like
Great.
the essence of the sessions. And so I'm glad to be having Joyce tonight, Joyce with us, and I'm going to hand over the mic to her to allow her
Oh wow.
introduce herself and then yeah.
Oh wow. So when people ask me to introduce myself, I'm usually very like, what do I say? How do I put it? Because I'm quite a lot. Okay, so I'm Joyce Ubi. I'm from Cross River State. Yes, I was born and bred in Edo State, but I'm currently in Lagos. I am a professional musician. I teach music and also I'm a music educator. And not just that, I'm also a social entrepreneur. I dwell more on impact. I love to impact young minds. I'm a life coach. I coach young people. I teach teenagers. And I'm an actor as well, yeah. A lot, etc. Right? So
Wow.
if you really want to know more about me, you could follow me on social media and then
Yeah.
you get to see more about Joycey. Thank you.
Wow. Indeed. Power woman. No wonder
Wow.
there's global woman on your
Oh,
Instagram
oh please.
profile. Now I am beginning to see why that is. Okay, so thank you for agreeing to join us tonight for this session. So I'll just dive right into the subject for today, the discussion. So when it comes to standing out from the crowd, right? What does that mean to you as a person?
Okay, for me, standing out as a person means that I am not following the crowd because when you take a look at the world, you take a look at the environment, your environment, or anywhere you find yourself, everyone is tilting towards a direction. So, not standing with the crowd, or what makes me stand out from the crowd is recognizing my uniqueness. Who are you, Joycey? I think when I was growing up, I tend to ask myself this question a lot, like, Joycey, who are you? It redefined my path. it will define who I am. And then when you get in tuned with who you are as a person, it helps you differentiate yourself from every other person. When you are in touch with your uniqueness, you know that this is the part everyone is toiling to. I am not this person. I am not supposed to be on this path. It just helps you, it just positions you. So standing out from the crowd is you knowing who you are first as a person, standing in your uniqueness. When you stand in your uniqueness, it just effortlessly bets this authenticity. There's how you walk, there's how you position yourself that makes you see things differently. So standing out from the crowd is me recognizing my uniqueness and standing in my authenticity as a person. I think, can you hear me, please? I can't hear
Okay,
you.
yeah, I can hear you
Uh,
now. So that's so beautiful. When you made mention of that word authenticity, right? So you reminded me of a post I made sometimes a few years back, and it was about you appearing classic but yet authentic at the same time, right?
yeah.
Because for the fact that you should be authentic does not mean that, for example, you can take a picture in front of a bush, right, and say, "Oh, it's just me being real," right? That's not what we're talking about here.
Mm-mm.
And
No,
then,
no,
and
no,
then,
no.
and then, you know how because we've all been created uniquely, right?
Yeah.
And each inside each and every one of us, we have like that thing, that potential that this is what we are born to do, or this is what we can do differently from others. If you try to copy any
Yes.
other person, you lose what you are supposed to do as a person, the contributions you are supposed to make in life, right? But before we dive further into this conversation, if you're joining this live session, just comment where you're joining in from so that we can give you a shout out. I know quite a number of persons will be joining from Joyce and myself and XLA community. So just drop your name and where you're joining us from so we can give you a shout out. Yeah, so still speaking
I
about
think also,
standing out.
okay, sorry,
Okay,
go
yeah.
on, please. No, go
No,
on.
I
Sorry,
was just
go
going
on.
to ask the next question. Okay, so
Okay.
still speaking about standing out, what are some key moral values that can help a person stand out positively?
Okay. What the key moral values that has really helped me as a person, because I tend to hear people say that there's just something about you, Joycey. So pardon me, guys, I'm going to be using myself as an example. I really do not like saying myself as an example. I don't really like to do those things, but because this interview is centered around, or this conversation is centered around me, so I would want to make use of myself as an example. I tend to hear people say that there's just something about Joycey. I really want to work with you, Joycey. Or maybe when we're assigned to a task, maybe a group of persons are assigned to a task, and then I'm part of that group. Almost everyone in the group, everyone is tilting towards, let's make Joycey this, let's give Joycey this. And sometimes I sit back to ask myself, why? There are people that you work with and you be like, I do not want to get involved with this person. Or you just, I don't know if you can relate. There's just something about this person that I beg, this person should just go and sit down. So what makes me really stand out, like the moral values that has helped me over time, is developing something, a very key value that has helped me in my journey with people and in my personal journey is integrity. There's something about integrity. There's something integrity does to your brand as a person. When you say yes and you mean your word, when you say no and you are sticking to your words, not you being two-faced, not you trying to, integrity does a lot for a person and for a personal brand, because it makes people trust you. It makes people see you for who you really are. And then I think, okay, integrity is one of the key values. And then we have kindness. I have kindness as also part of my moral value. I also have humility. Regardless of where I have been in life or the people I have done things with, I like to see myself as Jesus. If you're not a Christian, I'm so sorry. Maybe I would have added that to my introduction. I am a Jesus girl. I am a church girl, 101%. So I love to use Jesus as an example, as a role model. What would Jesus do? Jesus showed an example of a life full of humility. So in my dealings with people, what makes you stand out, or what makes me stand out as a person, is knowing fully well that I'm going into this sphere of influence representing Jesus. What would Jesus do? Jesus will shine as light. And shining as light is you not going there being incompetent. Is you going there sticking with your words, being a person of integrity, showing kindness to people and being humble, but knowing how to set the boundaries. You get so that's it. These are the key moral values that really helps you in standing out.
Amazing, amazing. I was just, when I was just listening, I was doing some self-reflection too. And you made mention of three things: integrity, humility, and what was the third one again?
Kindness, just being
Um,
kind.
kindness. Yes, kindness. Yeah.
Just to
So,
mention but a few, there's also perseverance, there's also
of course,
respect,
of course.
respecting people and honoring people as well. It just
Mm,
makes you stand out. Also, sorry to chip this in. I grew up in a place where being ras is one of the when you show rasness, it shows that you know what you're doing. I grew up in Benin, and one of the factors of being bred in Benin is no grief for anybody. You know how Benin people, and
yeah,
I was born and
yeah.
bred in Uselu. So if you show
Ah.
a yes, I was born and bred in Uselu. So if you show an iota of you being calm, they tend to think maybe you don't know what you are doing. They're like, this one is
Mm-hmm.
just, they call it, there's a word I'm looking for. They call it swagbe. I don't know. There's a way they say it in Benin, though I'm not a Benin person, right? And then
Yeah.
what makes you stand out? Going into a place where people are expecting you to be ras, but you're showing respect, you're showing honor. One thing honor does is it's not really about the person, it's about you. It's about you. So I like to say I honor people because I see myself as an honorable. If I am not honorable, I cannot honor you, Isosa. So it's what you give, what you have that you give. So we cannot say that you want to stand out, you don't honor people, you don't have integrity, you don't show humility, you don't have kindness, you're not perseverant, and let me not elaborate on this particular one. So that's it. I could go on and
Yeah,
on
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about this. I could just go on and on talking about this, but let's run.
I so much agree. When you made mention of integrity first, you said something about competence, right? The fact that you are a believer and you believe in Jesus and the grace of God does not mean you should not show up in that thing that you do. Doesn't mean that you should not be good at what you do and expect the grace of God to cover that, right? And
Yeah,
it's so important that your yes is yes and your no is no, because even amongst people who are usually not stable, even among people who they find way to lie and corner things, when they want to do certain transactions, they look for the people who they can trust, who are honest. They don't go for their
actually,
kind. They go
actually,
for those that they can actually trust, right? So it is not a factor that you should start saying, should I be kind, should I be honest, should I. It is the way, right? So again, you had already mentioned that like this is a Jesus conversation we're having. Yeah. So the scriptures in Galatians said something when he made mention of the fruit of the spirit. At the end, he says, against this, there are no
there is
law.
no law,
Meaning that
no
meaning
law.
that if you are gentle, if you are kind, if you have love, if you have all of these things in place, there's no one system, one law that would not say we are arresting you for being kind. You know, one system that will not come up and be like, "Mm-mm." So it's actually essential, right? That these values be your core system and guide you into doing your everyday activity. Thank you so much for sharing that, Joycey.
You're
The
welcome.
third question here says, in a society where shortcuts are often rewarded, how can one stay true to their values without feeling left behind?
Deep breath. At some point in our lives, we tend to tell ourselves, why am I not there? Why am I not aiming the same height my friends are? Or why am I not this person? Why am I not doing this or etc? But the thing is, what I tell people is ask yourself a very sincere question. Why am I on this journey? When you ask yourself the why, when you provide answers for the why, your why determines if you're going to fast track your process or stay in the process. It is in the process that we learn. It is in the process that you are built. It is in the process that you are refurbished. It is in the process that you are transformed. So I really do not, I am not the fast track kind of person. I stay in the process. And so what really helps me is to stay, focus on my growth. Where do I really want to be in the next 5 years? And whatever I'm trying to, or whatever I am doing, whatever God has committed to my hand, maybe let's say my vocal boot camp. In the next 5 years, this is where I want it to be. This is where I want it to go. I shouldn't be competing with Isosa who's oh wow.
Yes, I can hear you. Though it broke
Please can
for a
you hear me?
second, but I can hear you. Yes, yes, yes. I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
Though it broke for a second,
please.
but I can hear you now.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, so
Yes.
it was reconnecting at some point. Yeah, it was reconnecting. But can you hear me now? Is everything
Yes, yes,
okay?
yes. Loud and clear. Yes.
All right. Sorry for the break in transmission. So I focus on long term successes. So I was trying to paint a
Mm-hmm.
scenario between myself and Esosa. So if my goal in the next 5 years is to be one of the well known vocal brand academy in Nigeria, I shouldn't be competing with somebody who started his or her journey maybe some 10, 5, 20 years ago. So that's why I must stay in my process. I must stay in my unique journey and remain there because inconsistency, you bet mastery. So I don't want to
Mm,
fast track my journey. I do not want to look at ISOSA. I do not want to, I just want to stay in the process. So I think this is what helps me. I focus on my growth, I focus on my process, and I just stay there. I do not care about what other persons are doing. I do not I collaborate with other people. I build accountability. I create a foundation where I can always meet people for assistance. But to try to fast track my journey, I don't think so. I just stay in the process. And while I'm surrounded with people who know where they are going, it just helps you, it
mm,
just puts you in the right track. You know, when you're
true.
surrounded by a community of friends who know what they want, they know where they are going, it helps you. It positions your mind because you're not trying to outshine anybody. You're not trying to run more than or eat more than you can chew, or how do they say that? You just stay in the process and you enjoy it. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So true. When you made mention of the fact about staying in the process, there's something I like to say a lot, which is if you jump up, you come down, but if you climb up, you are more likely to stay
Yeah.
up, right?
Yes.
That's why you see all the quick get rich quick scheme, all the people want to be rich, they want to blow. As much as
Blow.
right. So the thing about blowing, right, is that it expands fast, but then it destroys, right? But something blows up, it destroys, and it does it really, really fast, right? So the idea of wanting to cut corners, it would definitely backfire. It might not backfire now,
Actually.
but it will backfire in time, right? So staying in the process, just like you said, wow, it's something that really, really, really helps. And there's something I do personally, right? I think that's one of my the best hacks for personal growth, right? Is being in the environment or creating the environment that supports your growth, right? So if you are someone who wants to do, say, more content creation, stuff like videos and stuff like that, if you are hanging out with people who are also into that same category of things, right? Their consistency, their ability to get this thing done over time would prompt you to want to, to keep going even when you feel exhausted or tired or something. And it goes for any other character as well. And so that is so important. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so the first question I have here is how do you handle situations where standing by your values might put you at a disadvantage?
Hmm. Okay, so let me share a quick story. You know, I graduated from a music school in December. So I went to get a degree in music in December. So, and the course I studied is a bit, is a secular course, not even a bit, it's a secular course. So I deliberately chose that course so I could have a broad idea about what the entertainment industry is about. So I remember one of those times that they would assign people to do songs and everything. So they chose me to do a song because, like, ah, Jesse, your vocal texture is just so perfect for this song. So you could deliver. We know you, blah, blah, blah. I said, ah, no problem. And then they gave me going to wear. This is the kind of outfit you are expected to wear. You cannot do the song and you are dressed all covered up. You cannot do. And it was one of the, I think the event was a very big event, a major event in Lagos. I think the governor was supposed to be there, was invited, and so many prominent people. And I had rehearsed my part. I had done a lot of things. Just a day or 2 days to the event, they called us and they said, "Oh, you." They call me Omo Jesus in school. It's a good thing, yeah. So they called me and they said, "This is the outfit you're going to wear. Let's see what." No, they asked me what. Let's see what you're going to wear, and I brought my outfits because I stayed in schools there. And I remember one of the lecturers saying, "You cannot wear this. This is what you are going to blah blah blah." I'm like, "Sir, I cannot expose, I cannot blah blah, I cannot wear, I expect to wear bomb shorts or tiny something to go and sing." And because I study music performance, there's certain steps you have to portray on stage. I said, I cannot, oh, I'm sorry. And they said, you cannot perform. Failure to do this. They dropped down a lot of things, that some benefits, because I was in my final year. I felt really bad. At some point, I remember calling my mentor. I was crying like, God, what's all of this? I paid a lot of money to come to this school. And the Holy Spirit sat me down and asked me a very good question. Who are you? Like, who are you? You know when you're having a conversation with the Holy Spirit and it just dawned on you that you have been foolish, you have been acting foolishly. Like your flaws just appeared right in front of you. I'm like, so I took responsibility for actions and I pleaded for. I was like, oh, don't be angry, don't be angry. And then so when I'm in that space, what I do that helps me right there. I don't know, can you hear me? Oh wow. I used oh my god.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. I think that was from my end because a call came in. I'm surprised because my phone is in do not disturb. Yeah, well, yeah.
Your life. What are your value system? So compared to where you are going, if this stuff or whatever you are that's being denied of you is standing in between who you are as a person, is coming to who you first as a person before venturing public into the public space or into your sphere of influence. When you get your
Yeah.
identity from who you are in God, God, there's so many things that you would see of like, these are frivolities, like these are frivolities, this cannot get me. This is just for the this is just for the now. These are temporary things. These cannot satisfy my soul. In as much as this gig is going to put me out there, but you know, one PRO from God can take you round the world. One PRO from God can put you on the table of people who really matters. Instead of you going down there dancing or selling your soul for just temporary achievement or something. So what keeps me here is understanding who I am in God. What's God saying about me? What's God saying about this thing? So when you are deeply rooted, when your identity is deeply rooted in how God sees you, it positions your mind. It re-strategizes how you think, what you accept, and the places you visit. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. That is so amazing. I don't know, but it just speaks to me, right? There are certain things I've been going through lately. I mean, materials I've been learning and certain studies that I've been engaged in. And it also revolves around this thing that you just said, right? Knowing who you are, first of all, right? Because if you do not know who you are in Christ, you will be swayed by little things. Yeah. And the thing about going viral, right? It's okay, right? But if you now go the extra mile and try to cut corners, or trying to do something that is displeasing to your faith in attempt to want to, go out there fast, right? It's so talking about your story, right? I'm just trying to imagine if someone like in your shoes were to now like, okay, let me do it. Is it not
Yeah.
tasteful? I paid for and stuff like that. And then you now come on stage and all the people that have been following you based on your faith and your lifestyle and I say, see, auntie, that's to preach. And then it just destroys all the reputation that you've, built up over the years. Just one thing, yeah. And who knows, again, on the other end of the spectrum, that could just be a test to see um how strong you are in the things and how faithful you are your in your calling, right? As a gospel person, as a child of God, as a believer, right? And all of these things are so important, right? It's so important that we stand true to who we are in Christ, even in terms of opposition
Yeah.
and when it's not looking favorable in quotes. Yeah, so that's that. Thank you so much. I think our fifth question here says, what daily habits can help you build self-discipline?
Oh my God. This is
Can you hear me?
okay. I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay, I said, what habits can help you build self-discipline? Like, what are the some that you can share with us? What are the few you can share with us
Okay.
right now?
Okay. So sorry, my network is a bit shaky. Okay. So
I
what helps?
understand. My Nigeria.
This is Nigeria. Okay. So what helps me form very good habits is because I first of all I love to read. I'm a very good reader. I love to read books. I've been trying to see your library. I've been trying to check out your library that's behind you. I've just been checking. But then what helps me form good habits is consistency. Start small. Start very small and hold on to that thing you're doing. It could just be reading a book. You could write down your goals. These are the things I really want to achieve. What I love may be different from what you like, you get. So just in summary, what I would say is focus on what you want to do. What helps me from consistent habits is I hold on to what I want to do. Like, okay, fine, this is what would help me get to this point. I want to be this person, but what will help me is doing this. I break them down into actionable points. I write my goals and break them down into actionable points. So, let me use a very common example. You could start with reading a book. Let's say every day I'm dedicating 10 minutes into reading my books, like one chapter a day. It could just be as little as one chapter a day or maybe 50 lines a day. And then I stay consistent on it. Every morning before I walk out of the house or any time before, I make sure I read one chapter. And doing all of those things, you don't do it alone, you don't do it in isolation. What helps you build all of these things is to get yourself accountable, get accountability partners, let them know that you have a challenge building good habits. Then try as much as possible to cut down, minimize distractions, because distractions come in different forms. It comes in different form. It could even be social media and
Yeah.
etc. So know what you want to do. Put down the goal. The Bible makes it clear in Habakkuk. Write the vision, make it plain. So whoever sees it may be able to run with you. So when you write the vision, this is what I want to do. The habits that forms that would form into that person that speaker. How do I get to that point? Every day this guy goes to the
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
oh, thank you. So in my head, I'm like, this is what accountability should be about. So set small goals, bit in bit, actionable points, and then it forms who you really want to be if you stay consistent. If you stay consistent. So I think that answers the question.
Wow. 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 I think over the years, even for me, the daily reading stuff has been something that, okay, so in 2021, during that still lockdown period, yeah, um, it
Yeah.
started from 2020 into 2021, I think even 2020. So I had a challenge to read a minimum of 30 minutes every day. And in my mind, first I was like,
Wow.
this one is not possible. But somehow I did that for I think 8 months straight, right? Because
Wow.
the challenge was
Wow.
like for 3 months at the there, but I extended it. So it was like from February down. And I realized first off, there was a mental change it did for me. In fact, when I was like after some months, when I speak, even me, I am amazed by the knowledge that is coming out from my mouth. It
Wow.
was that it was that bad, right? But all I'm
Wow.
saying is if you put your mind to something, you can do it. Sometimes we get inspired or we get to that point of taking decision either based on inspiration or desperation. That one was inspiration. There's the one that happened out of desperation. I was in a place, of course, you know that life is spiritual, but I moved into a place where we had like some spiritual things happening in that environment. And so I told myself, I'm going to pray 1 hour every day, a minimum of 1 hour every day. I was surprised. I did it, right? I did it
I didn't get that.
all through that year.
Sorry,
If
can
I
you wake
ever,
up?
okay, can you hear me now?
Ah, I can
Can
hear
you
you
hear
now.
me?
Perfect. Yes.
Okay, okay. So I was talking about something how you can either get to that point of taking decision, either based on inspiration or desperation. Inspiration was that challenge of me, having to do 30 minutes book reading every day for a long period of time. Desperation was for me was when I moved into an environment where I saw, some spiritual traces of things happening in the environment, right? So Because this is life, I would not want to go into details, but I just shall know that you cannot be in this environment and not be spiritually alert, right? And so
Yeah.
I gave myself a certain duration of time to pray every single day. And guess what? First, before that time, I never thought I could be consistent in stuff like that for a long period of time. But because I knew the importance of this, right, I did it for a year straight. If I ever did less than the duration I gave myself in the entire year, if I ever did, it might not be up to 5 times, right? I could do that because I was desperate enough to get it done. So, in other words, um, when you want to get consistent in anything, just like you've shared, right? It must be something you are hungry to do. It must be something that you know that you need this thing and you want to get it, right? So your hunger for that thing must be more than your excuses not to do that thing. So thank you so much. Thank you. I hope you can still hear me
Thank
though.
you too. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear.
Okay, so the second to the last question for tonight would be, what are the dangers of taking commitments of of lacking, rather, what are the dangers of lacking commitment in personal and professional life?
Please come again. I didn't get that. Sorry.
Okay, I said
Sorry,
what
can you
are
help
the
me recap the
dangers?
question?
Okay, I said what are the dangers of lacking commitment in personal and professional life?
Okay, now this is Nigeria. Network is now trying to play a quick one. Please, sorry, can you one more time just help me recap? What are what?
Okay, so I said what are the dangers of lacking commitment in your
Uh,
personal and
okay,
professional life? Yeah.
okay. The dangers of lacking commitment in the dangers of lacking commitment is nobody trusts you. Nobody's going to trust you. Nobody's going to trust you first and first. So lack of commitment in that consistency. This is one of my key stuff. So when you sorry, let me get that question again so I understand what I'm saying. I think network was a bit shaky.
Okay, so
Can you hear me?
dangers of lacking commitment. So say when you are not commit or
Dangers of
when
lacking commitment.
yes, of lacking. So when you are somebody who's not committed to anything, what are the dangers for your personal or to your personal
Okay,
and to
okay.
your
I think I'm
professional
on
life?
track now.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me? I think I'm back. Hey, are you there? Hello.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, I thought you couldn't hear me. Okay, so first thing first, like I said earlier, it just makes people not trust you. There's something about competence. There's something competence does to your brand. It just makes people rally around you. So if you are not competent, if you're not willing to commit to what you have been assigned to do, it just it just makes you very inconsistent. Lack of commitment makes you inconsistent. So you have to be committed to a task so you can be very, very good at it. And then when you don't show a level of competence into what you're doing, I just feel that it also affects your growth as a person because you're not willing to go the extra mile. You're not willing to break your mind, like break the barriers that centers around your mind on a task. So it causes a lot of downtimes for a person. Yeah. So and one of the key values I think, one of the key things I think it does to you as a person or to your brand is it makes you appear very weak. It makes your growth value very, very minimal. So when you're not committed to what you're called to do, or when you're not committed to what you have been assigned to do, it just makes people do not want to really trust you enough to work with them or like what I mentioned earlier. So you must try as much as possible to eliminate excuses. You must try as much as possible to dead every act of complaining and just get some things done, and just make sure that your brand is up there. Make sure that your brand is speaking for you, and not just you lazing around and not knowing what to do. So I think that's my own stand on this.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm not going to stress on that. I'm not going to stress on that
Yep.
at all. You already said though that
Oh,
it makes
wow.
people not to trust you, and that is a bad thing because trust is a currency, and if you don't have it or more, you don't have like something really, really valuable that's vital in life that you need to have. So thank you for
Actually.
sharing that. Before we just move on to the last question, before your final words, for those joining, I see Isus Musakai, good to have you. I think I saw Rocha. Okay, good to have you on the session. Akiri Blessing, well done. Good to have you with us. Excel Manuel, well done, brother. Good to have you. I see Daisy. Hello, Daisy. Good to have you on this live session. I hope it has been valuable for you so far. So if this is your first time of seeing Joycey anywhere, right? She's someone who's amazing. You can find her on Instagram, Facebook, even here on YouTube. Follow her, connect with her, send a message, tag that nugget that or post that nugget that you got here and tag her to it. She'll be glad to repost or something. But just find a way to connect with her. Of course, stream her music. She has very amazing songs. I think I saw one.
Yeah,
I
stream my
am.
song. I
Yeah.
am.
So yeah, please,
Yeah.
you have to do that. So follow her on Instagram and all of that. Also, if you're not a part of the Successful Living Africa community, which is a community of growth seekers in personal and professional world, and what we do there is we assist you in your growth journey. We have live sessions every now and then where we get to go on Q&As and just guide people into become the best version of themselves. Yeah. And so for that, we have the free community and we have the private, which is on subscription basis. But whichever way, if you're interested, the link is on the bio of this or the description rather of this live session. So just click and join. Of course, if you have gotten to this point and you've not followed or subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. We'll be having more sessions like this, and hopefully, we could even get to have Joyce again with us if our busy schedule permits, anyways. But yeah, so that's it for now. So let's just move on and conclude on this. So, question number 6. Okay, question number 7 now is, which is the last
Okay.
question actually. Who's someone you admire for their strong values, discipline, and commitment, and what can we learn from that?
Okay. Someone that I admire. This is for me, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. There's this woman I love so much. She's a very well-known woman, and I really love her work ethics. I love her values. She stands on her ground, and she tells you that this is okay. In summary, her integrity is so top notch. She believes in God. She's a God woman, and her work ethics.
I
She's
can guess.
thriving in the
So I
marketplace.
think
Please guess.
at this point I can know. I already know the person. I think
Okay,
I
let's
do.
let's try. Okay,
Okay.
try.
That should be Ibuku Haoshika. Yes or yes. I
Actually,
deserve
you
one
got it. You got
champion
it.
for that.
See, you deserve it. You do. You really do. I really admire this woman, and she makes me. Whenever I listen to this woman, she makes me aspire for growth, and I long to be more than that woman, because I really do not want to be like my mentors. I want to be more than my mentors. So she just inspires me in so many ways. Seeing a woman take up leadership roles, excelling in a sphere of influence, and taking the Jesus factor along, and being honorable to a marriage, honorable to her husband, submissive to her husband. That's the role model I really want to factor myself into, and I want to be more than that woman. So she's really that woman. Every young person, whether you're male or female, you really need to look out for this woman and draw your values. You must not draw, your values must not be stemmed from Ibukun and Oshika. You can draw your own values and put her up there as one of your role models. Like, oh, this woman, I really want to live my life. I don't want to be like her, because Jesus is our role model. But we need to have people around that just makes our success or makes our focus to be really, really on point. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much. Speaking about that, I think today, because I've been saying it for the longest time possible, I had to draw like a list of people that are in my line of, things that I do, and so that I can follow them closely. Because sometimes you just have to model. Yes, Christ is the main focus, right? Uh, but it's not a bad idea to also, draw one or two inspirations from those persons and see
Mm-hmm.
how they've gone ahead. Just like Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ, right? So there are definitely
Yeah.
certain things that they are doing that you can draw inspiration for, even while you journey on this Christian race. Yeah. So the last part of that question is, what can we learn from her?
Okay, what can we learn from Ibuku and Wishika?
Yes.
Sorry, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, one of the key things you can learn from Ibuku and Wishika is the fact that she loves knowledge. She
Mm.
loves knowledge. She's an ardent reader. She understands where she's going. And one thing that drew my attention to my Buku and Wishika is resilience. And that's one of the factors I think is missing in this my generation. We do not have resilience. When we hear a no, we turn it down and then we just go another route and we feel very discouraged. I've been reading and following this woman for a long time. She has experienced so many disappointments, but she kept being resilient. So one of the key things you need to pick from the life of this woman is resilience. If you have resilience, if you understand the act of resilience, there's no mountain you cannot crumble, even in your sphere of influence. Because I believe that we all belong to different sphere of influence. When you go into your sphere of influence with resilience, trust me, you are going to break down barriers. You are going to eliminate so many things, and God by your side, you are going to not just win 1,000, but you do more than 1,000 down to 10,000. Yeah.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you so much for sharing all of these
You're welcome.
insights, nuggets. It has been amazing, amazing just hearing you speak. And I believe we've all been getting value from this session tonight. Um, as we conclude this session, right? Speaking about resilience, I think a lot of people in this day and time are not determined enough to go after what they want. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So a lot of people, they set out to do something, but then when they get a little setback, they just stop and don't continue that path. It ought not to be so. You need like to be hungry enough to get something that you're able to find different ways. I mean, different legitimate ways, though, right? Different ways to, get back up and pursue that thing, because there are certain things in life that are not easy, right? And it's fine that it's
True.
not easy, and that's why you have to do it that way, since it's not easy. Because if it were to be easy, everybody else would have been doing it. But the fact that it's not easy, first
Very
off,
well.
distinct you from others, or make that thing unusual, make that thing uncommon. Just imagine if everybody in this world were actually wise, right? There would have been no value for wisdom, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, so, and that is why Jesus said that the poor would always have amongst us.
Always have them around you. Yeah.
Right, but then you don't have to be that poor person, yeah. You don't have to be that foolish one. You don't have you joining this call, this session to tonight means you know what you're doing. So whatever setback, whatever difficulty or disappointment that you are experiencing right now, please go through it. Please find ways around it. Please be resilient because your your glory story is not so far away. And in summary, or lastly, I would say that a lot of people pursue the glory, but there are usually stories behind every glory. You can either, rejoice over the glory, or you can seek to find the story because the story that actually
Yeah.
makes up that glory. So, whosoever that you're
Right.
admiring right now, go and look out for their story, check out their processes. Actually, you would notice that those processes that built them up, that made them to be who they are and where they are right now. So thank you so much. What would be your final words for tonight's session? Final words.
Okay, my final words for tonight is stay different. Stay different,
Mm.
stay unique, be authentic. And while you are doing all of these things, stay bold, understand who you are in Christ, understand what God has called you to do, and stay in your unique journey. Stay in the process, but get refined in the process. No rush, no pressure. Just keep doing what God wants you to do per time. And trust me, like you said, there are no story, no glory. So that's it.
Thank you so much. Please let's celebrate Joyce in the comments. Please let's celebrate her. Thank you so much. Thank you. It has been a pleasure having you
Thank
share
you
all the
too.
things that you've shared with us tonight. Yeah.
Okay, bye. Bye, guys. Till see you
Thank you
again.
so much. Bye. Yeah, thank you. I would reach out to you in the back
All
end.
right.
Okay, guys, I trust it has been amazing, amazing so far. Thank you, everyone, for showing up for today's live session. Let me know if it was valuable for you in the comment section. Um, I see all of you. Thank you so much for joining. Of course, if you've not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Go right there and subscribe. And join Successful Living Africa to get more content like this and more live sessions that will help you grow and become the best version of yourself. I can't wait to see you. And of course, you can connect with me. You can send me a message and do reach out to Joyce, to follow her, or Joyce rather, do reach out to her, to follow her, to connect with her. And I know this is just the beginning of your glory story, right? So thank you so much for joining tonight. Thank you, Blessing Akeri. Thank you, Daisy. Thank you, Isusa, and every other single person, every other person that's been on this call so far. Good night. Till our next live session. Bye. Peace.